Welcome to this video, 3 Chrome extensions every language learner must have. So for this video we only need a Chrome-based browser. In our case I'm showing you 3 different browsers. We have Brave or Microsoft Edge or Opera or any other Chrome-based browser. For example, Chrome, Vivaldi, you name it. So I'm just going to use Brave in our case. There is not going to be any differences between those browsers because we're going to access the same Chrome extensions default page. So let's get started. So we go to Google and then we type the Chrome extensions. We hit the first link, Chrome Web Store, and then we type Definer in the search the store box. We press enter. We access the extension, then we press add it to Brave. We wait for the app to be installed. There we go. It's showing on the top of the bar. Then we have to pin it so that it always show up. We can use the extension directly by pressing on it. Then we can type anywhere we want. Let's say lexicon. Well, it's a noun, the vocabulary of a person, language, or branch of knowledge. Let's say we were just checking the web. For instance, let's say I'm reading the Stoic philosophy on Wikipedia page. When we access the page, let's say I didn't understand a word. For instance, the word in our case is going to be virtue. We just click on the word, we find that we have the definition, right? Then we have the DuckDuckGo section. Also, we can check the word on Wikipedia as well. As you can see, a lot of explanation here. Also, one of the most useful tools that we can make use of is the translator, the Google Translator. For instance, let's say I want to know the word in Arabic, which is my mother tongue, which is Fadila. Let's move on to Bing Images. This section is very useful for the words that we probably are not really abstract. In our case, virtue is an abstract word, so it's more useful for words that are associated with objects. Moving on to Google, we here can check the Google search. So for me personally, I find Google Dictionary and Google Translate are both important. So especially for language learners in our case. If you are learning another language, it's very useful for you to check the meaning of the words. So let's move on to the next tool. So we go to the Chrome Web Store and look up for language learning with Netflix and YouTube AFL. We click on it and then we click add it to Brave. We added the extension. Wait for it to be installed. And we end up being greeted by 2 tabs, which we don't really need. We just close both of them. We head to YouTube and check a video related to healthy eating and food.
Gee,
There you go.
I know how hard it is to eat healthy all the time.
Well,
But what if I told you?
for now, let's check the settings. When it comes to target language, is the language of the original video, and then we have the second subtitle for the language that we are familiar with. Let's say Spanish, and we also added the mouse dictionary, which is Spanish. We closed the window, then we try to hover over the word to check the different synonyms of the word. Now we can move to other subtitles. We can hover on any text, then we can find on the left side its translation in Spanish. That can really be helpful. So one of the interesting things about this extension, which is super useful, is the use of shortcuts. For instance, let's say we're learning to say this phrase. When you press the S key, you can repeat the phrase.
Another little trick to cut down on salt is to use less and flavor your
press the
tasty
D
herbs
for
like
the next
cilantro,
phrase.
oregano,
D key.
chili,
Let's go back to the
pepper.
last phrase. We press
Another little
A.
trick to cut down on salt is to use less and flavor your food with.
So that was it when it comes to this extension. You can actually use it with Netflix, but personally I don't have Netflix because I don't want to end up binge watching for hours, wasting my time on different shows. I'm not saying that there is nothing worth watching on Netflix, but for the time being, I better stay away from Netflix. Other than that, let's just move on to the next extension. We go to the Chrome Web Store and type readlang, press on it, and then we just add it to Brave. We wait for it to be installed like usual. Once it's installed, we need to pin the extension because we need to use it. Okay, now we access this page, which is supposed to be a French story, and we need to learn some French words, right? To do that, we select from French to English, then we need to log in. Sign in. We get greeted with signing with Google. In our case, I used my personal account. I'm already logged in, as you can see this circle. Alright, now we press the menu to see that we are logged in. Now let's go and learn some words, shall we? This is the password. Let's say we want to learn the word poulet, which is chicken. And then we have ami, which is friends. And let's say I don't understand the word petit, which is little. All right, we have 3 words. Let's say now we want to memorize those words. How do we do that? Easy. We go to the menu and then we press the first one, which is review flashcards. Before we review the words, let's check the word list that we have so far. Let's select a word. We have the context, which is very useful to know from where the word we learned. And then we have, this is the URL box where we can put mesh, and then we can generate an explanation as well. All right, so that's pretty much it when it comes to the features. Now let's just move on to other words, the same thing, so we can edit the context. All right, let's just go to flashcards and review the words that we have learned today. We have 3 words to review. Ami, which is friends. We guessed it right, so we say yes. Petit, little. We press yes. And then we have poulet, which is chicken. Yes. All right, so that's pretty much it. It's very useful extension. I think if you're going to use it for a couple of weeks, you can probably build a massive list of vocab, which I find very interesting. So that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching, and if you have any comments or questions, leave them below, and I'll see you next time.